I have a $12,000 sofa next to an Amazon designer inspired end table, and both of these items work well together. It's all about mixing the high with the low. So in today's video, we're gonna go through my home and share the high and low items in my home. I'm gonna show you where you should splurge, where you should save, where I've done so, and I'm gonna show you that not everything in your house can be cheap, but also not everything has to be super expensive. Before we get into today's video, I'd love it if you smash that subscribe button, and if you wanna shop anything I have in my home, I'm gonna have all the links down in the description box, and then you can also scan this QR code up on the screen. So we're gonna start today's video in the living room because the living room is like obviously where I do most of my filming and where I invest the most because I only sleep in my room, so my room is secondary. So like I just said, the staple pieces in our living room are actually pretty expensive. So to start, we have the Lugano sofa from Restoration Hardware. I had a dupe of the Restoration Hardware Cloud sofa. I became a parent, I no longer had the effort to flush the cushions. Like I literally was too busy wiping someone else's butt for me to like fluff these cushions, and I needed a sofa that was big enough for everyone to lay down, and the Lugano is a really good option. What I like about the Restoration Hardware sofa, and something that I think distinguishes it from something that's cheap, is the way this cushion is made. So do you see how it like dents down right here? So there's no filling here. The filling is only over here so that it slides underneath and everything is flush. Little details like that really matter. Also, the way the cushions fit into the slipcover. This just makes sense. You're not gonna have any jagged seams. It is just luxurious. Now, what I will say is even though we spent so much money on this sofa, it pills the same amount as the dupe, if not more. I will say that the quality of the other fabric was a little bit better in terms of filling. This fabric baseline is better, it feels softer, but the other fabric was better at repelling stains and repelling pilling. Like the pilling on this is absolutely insane, and we're a family that wears black, so there's food for thought there. Now, even though I'm gonna spend a lot of money on what I am sitting on primarily, you're gonna see the same thing in the bedroom, the coffee table is where we're gonna save money. I wanted a coffee table that was family friendly, baby safe, had storage, gave Pottery Barn vibes without too much money, right? So this came pre-assembled. There is storage on both sides. Are these like soft close drawers? They are. They are soft close drawers from Amazon. I mean, do they feel a little rickety on the way out? Yes. But I didn't have to assemble them. I think it looks luxurious. It has this beveled edge that again, looks high-end to me. This is someplace where I would never spend a lot of money. I have had coffee table after coffee table after coffee table. You guys know this. This is probably my favorite one so far, and this one is from Amazon. That being said, it was still $500. It wasn't cheap, but the same thing at like a Restoration Hardware or a Pottery Barn might have been $1,000, $1,500, and either I would have had to assemble it or I would have had to sit here and watch them assemble it and all of that good stuff, and it would have taken 20 years to show up. This, I ordered it on like a Monday, it was here by a Wednesday, and all I had to do was take it out of the box. And then, of course, there's a lot of Restoration Hardware out here. So the mirror was probably the first thing we ever purchased, Restoration Hardware. I don't think Anthropology does it as well. I think Our House does it as well, but Our House is a little bit more expensive, and their shipping times, they're like, if you want this in 72 weeks, you can have it. Restoration Hardware, I will say, I don't think they like me, so I don't know why this sounds like a Restoration Hardware ad, but like you can filter on their website, like, do you want this to get here next week? And it does indeed show up next week, if not the next day. The art was a save. So I have lots of expensive art in my home, but I also have lots of cheap art in my home. A lot of really fine artists like Kadir Boli, they do collaboration. So this was a collaboration they did with Value City Furniture before I actually was a Value City Furniture ambassador. These were $278, I think, a piece, and they are 2 feet by 6 feet, so they're pretty massive, and they're striking pieces of art, and like I honestly don't think I would have the career that I had if I hadn't selected these pieces, oddly enough. Then we have these orbiter lamps. I find lots of really good task lamps all over the internet. These are from Restoration Hardware. I got them at the outlet. Would I pay full price for these? No, because all I do is hit myself in the head with them. And you can even see firsthand that the gold of this is not as good as the gold on the mirror. The mirror looks so much nicer. This looks so much like cheaper and tackier. This is an instance in where I would go affordable. I would get the Cedric task lamp from Amazon, the Obright Pharmacy task lamp from Amazon. While the shape of this is really cool. It isn't functional and it looks really, really, really cheap. Even these lanterns I have from Amazon, I think look so much more high-end than this. This looks so yellow. So while it looks great on camera, in real life, it just is not functional. Now I want to turn your attention to the side table that I have here. This over here gives Lulu in Georgia. It gives CB2, like Leanne Ford collection. This is a Safavieh piece. It was under $200 from Amazon. I think it having like the 3 legs as opposed to 4 makes it look really high end. So it's little details like that that I think are going to give you that elevated look for less. It's just like slight work. And then over here we have these accent chairs that honestly I just haven't been able to get rid of. If you want to do something where it's very like monochromatic, you're only really dealing with one color, this is a good way to do so. So you have a different shape, you have a different type of upholstery fabric. So even though both the things here are white, it's still giving a different vibe because of the difference in shape and fabric and all of that good stuff. Now I want to move into the dining room because I also have some really, really good dupes in there. Now we're in the dining room. It is inspired central and I love it. And I want to talk about why this is where we want to save. So I actually was gifted our dining table and it's falling apart. So food for thought there, one of the legs is like detached and the veneer is scratched and it's from our house. So I still really love the table, but I think the table was originally like $2,000. Food for thought there. I did get these swivel chairs from Amazon. I really like them because they do swivel. They're velvet upholstery. They look like the ones from Restoration Hardware from our house. The only like qualm I have is that they don't have casters, meaning that it's really hard to get in and out of them when there is a rug down. But that's like a me problem, right? That's not a chair problem. I should have had the forethought there, but I do really like them. And the assembly just required putting the base on and you were good to go. So in theory, you don't even have to put the swivel base on, and therefore it might be easier for it to pull in and out. Another way that I saved in the dining room was with this credenza. I found it on Amazon. They also sell it on Wayfair. I think the hardware looks high end. I think it's a great way to get the burl wood look. So burled wood is so expensive because it's like an imperfection in wood, so it doesn't happen as, you know, commonly out in the earth as like, you know, normal wood. Therefore the price has increased. So I think this is a great way to get the look that would normally cost $2,000, $5,000, $6,000 on a budget. The assembly of this was a beast, but I think the quality is there. There's storage in both ends here and their drawers. And what I really love about there is the hardware is like the perfect like aged brass to give that luxe look. And then everything else here is a save. So DIY art, this is from Goodwill, that's from Amazon. I think most of your styling pieces, unless there's something really striking, kind of like this candelabra here, you should save, because our styles change so quickly. There's no reason to buy something really, really, really expensive if you're not gonna like it in a few months. Now I do wanna take you into the bedroom to show you some saves and splurges in there as well. So now let's talk about the bedroom where we did a lot of saving, except for in one place, and I want you to guess right now where that place is. That place is the mattress. A mattress is where I feel like you should splurge. We spent an arm and a leg on our mattress. I think it was like $4,000. It was the Beauty Rest Black, but I get the best night's sleep ever. Like I go on vacation, I can't wait to come back to my bed. Same thing with Babe, I think it's amazing. But everything else in here really was a save. So I think my most asked about piece is this bed, because it looks like when you find it Restoration, Pottery Barn, Rejuvenation, the whole 9 yards. And this is the Bernhardt Sawyer bed. It's around $1,500 from Wayfair. And it's really popular because of the footboard. A footboard is really gonna help your bed look so much more luxurious because you don't have to worry about making the base of the bed perfectly because you can't see the imperfections there. So I think that's really a winner. And then it has like this piping that I think also really elevates the look. It comes in this color, it also comes in more of like a grayish. I think it's really, really, really nice. Another way I updated the house, I forgot to turn this on, but that's okay, is I got square frames with large mats. I think large mats really help a space look more luxurious. Small mats just look kind of cheap. And if you can get a glass that's not as reflective, that's the best way to go about it. I just got some peel and stick contact paper from Amazon and covered the mats in that, and then used these gold frames from Amazon. And I printed the artwork out using my printer at home. And I really like this vibe. On either side of the bed, I flanked everything with these sconces from Amazon. This is genuine alabaster. So I think it's a great way to add some additional lighting to your home, especially if you don't really love nightstand lamps. And then I did find these $500 nightstand lamps at home goods for $250 a piece. So that was a great way to save. I also love this bedding brand because I do think it helps everything look really luxurious. One of the best bedding hacks I can share with you to make your bedding look expensive is 1, to use a velvet quilt as a coverlet, and 2, go with some type of textured duvet cover because you never have to worry about wrinkles, because like this looks like this is how it's supposed to be. It just saves you so much time and energy. Wrinkled bedding never looks nice, and it takes forever to truly get every wrinkle out. One place we did spend money in the bedroom is on the nightstands, and honestly it's a big regret for me because they stain really easily. You can see the one you're looking at right now. It looks like I took a white crayon and covered it in it, and I promise you I did not do that. And these mirrors are awesome from Amazon. So like pretty much everything in the bedroom is a save, even the rug, because the bedroom, it's not a place where I would invest a ton, because while you do spend a lot of your life in the bedroom, you're asleep. So it doesn't really matter. I even got this gorgeous 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-tier chandelier from Amazon. It was a little under $1,500, or maybe it was under $500, I can't remember, but love the quality. Took forever to assemble, and we've only had to switch out the light bulbs once, but I think having really high-end looking lighting, of which Amazon has an abundance, is going to instantly elevate every part of your home. I also think just going with like moody paint colors also helps to elevate the vibe. I think if this room was stark white, you'd be like, I don't think those things look as luxe. I think it's our ability to really master the lighting and create a nice moody vibe, which is what I think high-end stores do, is what helps this room translate so well. And then last but not least, we have this area over here, and this is a dresser from Value City Furniture, one of my brand collaborators, a Rorschach piece of painting, a painting I made inspired by Restoration Hardware. This is their collection that is made to look like restoration. I think they did a really great job. It does scratch a little bit, but I think we've had them for over 3 years and we're not particularly light on our furniture. But I think anything with long handles like this, if you're trying to emulate a luxurious look, go for something with really long handles. That's definitely going to help you get there really quickly. And if you can get knurled, that's even better. But do not go to a store without having like a brass or antique gold reference, because that is what's going to really cheapen your home. And if you feel like you can't find something that is a great benchmark, skip the brass altogether and just go for black and matte, because that's the safest thing you can do. But that's it for today's video. Those are a few examples where I mixed high and low in my own home. I hope you're walking away from today's video knowing concretely that you do not have to spend a ton of money to make your home look luxurious. You just need to invest where you're going to be sitting or laying down a majority of the time, and you really need to master lighting. Once you have done that, I really truly believe you can achieve your dream home on a budget. If you want to shop anything I have in my home, I have linked everything down below, and you can scan this QR code up on the screen. But until next time, have a beautiful day.